to the next brief education dialogue on the future of our students when it comes to learning outcomes and cyber safety. So indeed a very burning topic for all of us that needs our attention. I would like to call on stage our panelists to initiate the same. Yes, so sir is already here. The panelists are 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, CEO of the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 Foundation.
Yeah, I'll complete. So let me invite 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, the CEO of 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 Foundation, Sonali Patankar, the president of, the founder and president of Responsible Netism, and Ahan. They're just getting the chairs. This is the NGO treatment usually. No, I'm joking. And also let me invite 𝗖ecie_𝗶𝗹𝗲𝗲 from the Bombay Municipal Corporation. Hello, good afternoon. All awake? Okay. So I think let me a little bit start with the context. We don't mind standing, and it's very flexible. After COVID, everyone prefers to stand and talk because they've sat a lot. So if you want to hold mics, we can just start, right? And the chairs will follow. So let's just break the protocol. The topic today is the future of our students with regards to learning outcomes and cyber safety. I think we all know that COVID has, we just have 4. Yeah. COVID has brought us such a large change in the way we look at things, the way we teach, the way students learn. So I think the whole context today of this discussion is to little bit go into depth and to learn from the perspectives and experiences of Saurabh, Sonali, and Seema ma'am to understand what really happened. So it's a more experience sharing, right? And for you to be a little bit sensitized in, yes, we stayed in a world where everything was perfect and people went through challenges, but it's always nice to know multiple perspectives and challenges people face. So let me start the conversation with, because I met 𝗖ecie_𝗶𝗹𝗲𝗲 ma'am from BMC just now, and we were just sharing about the experiences she faced during COVID. Seema, I'll give the first mic to the Bombay Municipal Corporation where we are currently. So please, you want to share your experience? Yeah.
Thank you, sir. This is very great day today for all of us.
Yeah.
अभी सर के साथ में हमारा थोड़ा सा डिस्कशन हुआ था, तो क्योंकि सर ने बीएमसी के टीचरों के बारे में जो आप सभी ने सुना होगा, तो मैं सर के साथ थोड़ा डिस्कस कर रही थी, तो सर ने मुझे यहाँ पे बुलाया. दैट्स फॉर थैंक यू सर. क्योंकि जब हमारे टीचरों ने काम किया था तो मुझे लगता था कि इनका कहीं तो भी बड़े स्टेज पे नाम आना बहुत ज़रूरी है. तो आई जस्ट वॉन्ट टू शेयर विथ यू, ऑल ऑफ यू. इट्स अगर आप अभी सुनेंगे तो आपको एक स्टोरी जैसा लगेगा. जब कोविड स्टार्ट हुआ था तो आप सभी को मालूम है, मेरे ख्याल से जो बाहर से आए हैं पूना से, उनको भी मालूम है, मुंबई में सबसे ज़्यादा पीक पे था और सबसे ज़्यादा जी साउथ वार्ड में था, मीन्स वर्ली एरिया. और उस वार्ड में मैं एज ए एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑफिसर थी. मेरे अंडर में 50 स्कूल्स आते हैं बीएमसी के. तो 50 स्कूल के टीचरों को मीन्स पूरे हमारे वार्ड के टीचरों को ड्यूटी लगाई गई थी कोविड में. आपने शायद इमेजिन भी नहीं किया होगा कि ऐसा भी टीचरों ने कोविड के समय में किया होगा. तो वही सब आपके साथ थोड़ा सा शेयर करना चाहूँगी. जब लॉकडाउन 24 को डिक्लेयर हुआ था, 20 और 24 को, सब अपने अपने घर में था, बाहर कोई भी नहीं था. इवन हम भी घर में थे, सभी घर में थे. 4-5 दिन मुश्किल से हुआ होगा, तो मैंने खुद मेरे वार्ड ऑफिसर को फ़ोन किया कि सर ऐसे घर में बैठना बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, आप लोग सब 24 आवर ड्यूटी कर रहे हैं, तो सर मुझे आप, मैं लेडीज़ हूँ ये समझ के आप मेरी ड्यूटी नहीं लगाओगे ऐसा मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, क्योंकि इस समय मुझे मेरा देश पुकार रहा है, तो मेरी किस्मत होगी कि आप मुझे कहीं तो भी ड्यूटी लगाइए। तो वो मुझे कहे कि श्योर आप करोगी, मैंने लिया हाँ सर डेफिनेटली। तो उन्होंने फिर मुझे एक दिन बाद कंट्रोल रूम में बैठाया उन्होंने बीएमसी के। उसके बाद में फिर इतने ज़्यादा केसेस आ गए कि पब्लिक को हैंडल करना बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट हो गया था। आप सब जानते हैं कि कोविड में सिर्फ और सिर्फ बीएमसी ने काम किया है, आप सभी को मालूम है। इवन मुंबई एंड इन ऑल ओवर इंडिया म्युनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन ने ही किया है। इवन सारे प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल बंद थे, सारे रास्ते बंद थे, सिर्फ और सिर्फ बीएमसी काम कर रही थी। तो उस समय मेन पावर 0 के बराबर था। तब ये हुआ कि कहाँ से मेन पावर लाया जाए। तो सबसे ज़्यादा एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट में टीचर, क्योंकि हर डिपार्टमेंट में आपको 10-20 इस तरह से मेन पावर मिल रहा था बीएमसी को, पर हमारे पास से बहुत ज़्यादा मेन पावर था, तो सारा ध्यान टीचरों पे गया। तो अब टीचरों को ड्यूटी कंपलसरी की गई कि आपको आना ही है। वो बहुत सारे रूल रेगुलेशन वो अब मैं आपके साथ शेयर नहीं कर सकती हूँ। तो इस तरह से कंपलसरी जब किया गया, और तब तक सब अपने अपने गांव चले गए थे ना, सब अपने अपने गांव। ऐसे हमारे टीचर भी अपने अपने गांव चले गए थे, आसपास लंबे लंबे, कोई तो आउट ऑफ इंडिया भी फंसे हुए थे। और उस समय ट्रैवलिंग भी बंद था। ट्रैवलिंग बंद था ना, मतलब आप अपने घर से बाहर भी नहीं निकल सकते थे। तो गांव से मुंबई तक आना, इज़ इट पॉसिबल? तो जब ड्यूटी लगाई गई और कंपलसरी किया गया, तो उनको तो आना ही है। आप इमेजिन करिए, उन्होंने एक एक दिन, 1.5 दिन बाय रोड बाइक पे आए हैं, या फिर जो गवर्नमेंट की गाड़ियां होती थी ना उनमें आए हैं। वो भी कोई बैठाता नहीं था उस समय, क्योंकि कोविड चल रहा था। तो कैसे कैसे करके हमारे टीचर आए, हमको मालूम है वो सब। अब जब वो पहुँचे हैं कैसे भी करके, और इतनी आसानी से भी नहीं आए वो, उनको बहुत ब्रेन वॉश करना पड़ा। क्योंकि आप खुद देखिए, आपके घर में किसी को कोविड हुआ है तो आपने उसको रूम में लॉकडाउन किया है, तुरंत हॉस्पिटल भेजा है, राइट? फिर ड्यूटी पे आना और कोविड के लिए काम करना, सो यू कैन इमेजिन अबाउट दैट। फिर जब ड्यूटी लगाई गई, तो ड्यूटी कहाँ कहाँ लगाई गई हमारे टीचरों की? एक कंट्रोल रूम में लगाई गई। जैसा कि सर ने कहा कि आपको फ़ोन आते थे और आपसे पूछा जाता था कि अभी आपकी तबीयत कैसी है, आपसे डॉक्टर ने कांटेक्ट किया कि नहीं, आप अभी कहाँ पे है, आपने दवाई बराबर ली है कि नहीं। अब और रोज़ का उनका कांटेक्ट होता था। एक वहाँ पे और उसको बोला जाता था वॉर रूम। हर वार्ड में एक वॉर रूम बनाया गया था। वहाँ पे हमारे टीचर होते थे, कुछ डॉक्टर होते थे, और 2 डाटा ऑपरेटिंग रहते थे। फिर उसके बाद में जो कोविड सेंटर बनाए गए, कोविड सेंटर में भी हमारे टीचर हुआ करते थे, जो फूड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, मटेरियल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, इसका उनको दिया गया था करने के लिए। तो जस्ट मतलब जब कोविड पेशेंट आता था तो उनके पास में एंट्री होती थी, वो जगह पे भी टीचरों को बैठाया गया था। कोविड पेशेंट आ रहा है एंट्री के लिए, अभी वो डिक्लेयर नहीं हुआ है कि वो कोविड पेशेंट, तो ये भी काम उन्होंने किया है। फिर माइक लेके स्लम में घूमना और गलियों में घूमना और माइक पे बोलना, क्योंकि ये बोला गया था कि टीचर से अच्छा कोई बोल नहीं सकता है माइक पे, टीचर से अच्छा कोई समझा नहीं सकता है। तो टीचरों को फिर वो काम भी दिया गया। तो आप इतने सारे काम, मतलब और भी बहुत सारे काम हैं जो उनको दिए गए थे। अगर नॉर्मल कंडीशन होती तो हर कोई करता, पर ओवरऑल वो भी ह्यूमन बीइंग ही थे। तो सोचिए, उनको मेंटली रेडी करना, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टास्क टू अस। आप बिलीव भी नहीं कर सकते इस चीज़ को
सीमा
कि
मैम,
आपके, हाँ,
तो मैं ये thank you for giving this insight, and I want everyone to really applaud the efforts of the teachers who went beyond their asking, right? And I just want to ask Saurabh quickly. You also, work with a lot with the municipal schools, and you saw those similar kind of challenges happening in learning. What was your experience during that time? And as we have gone out of COVID, as we are just like, I can't say we have gone out of the pandemic yet, but as we are just passing by, what do you see is happening to the children, the teachers, their learning outcomes, their well-being? Please share your experience.
Thank you, Seema ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing that. Hi everyone, I'm Saurabh. I'm the CEO of 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 Foundation. We run 26 schools in MCGM, PMC, PCMC, and Nagpur Municipal Corporation in partnership with the municipal bodies. And we hire and place our own staff in all of these schools with the vision that we can provide an excellent and an equitable education opportunity for children from poorest communities and really take them out of poverty. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 today has graduated nearly 3,500 alumni, and some of them are studying in the top colleges in the world on full scholarships. Francis, just to quickly build off on what ma'am said, there was so much dire distress during that time. I think the first and foremost, we still had a lot more privilege than many of the BMC teachers. We really wanted our teachers to be able to focus on three big things for the families and children. One, first and foremost, their well-being. Second, their nutritional needs, because it was very, very hard. So many of our teachers stepped up and social workers stepped up to ensure that the children and the families had the ration. And third was virtual learning, and in that very order. So we wanted to make sure that, virtual learning was not the #1 priority, but it was there in our priorities. However, we ensured that for the 6-month period, the families who are daily wage earners, they had access to enough ration until the government facilities caught up, which they did eventually, right? And so ever since the schools have reopened, I must say that, we as a non-profit network of schools as well is embracing the concept here of hybrid learning. We were able to, with the help of our board members and partners, able to invest in tablets for our children all the way from grade 3 to 10, because we did want to make sure that our children will have access to all the learning opportunities throughout the school closure. Now that the schools have reopened over the past 6 to 9 months, here are our observations, which are not going to be very different from everyone else, but I do want to mention that because of 𝗟𝗏𝗲 Foundation's relationship with the communities or the parents of the children, we had 99.2% retention of children despite the pandemic. Our teachers throughout the pandemic were connected with every single child who had relocated or had to migrate. And then we ensured that they came back. It's unfortunate that we lost touch with about 50 odd children across the 15,000 that we serve today. But ever since they've come back, the learning gaps that we are staring with are huge. And most importantly, the social skills. I must tell you that, our children's social skills have suffered big time, followed by the academic gaps, because virtual learning, at least in 𝗟𝗏𝗲 spaces, despite the investment of tablets, was, very, very little effective, right? Very, very little effective. Imagine if you're a child living in a 4-wall compound with patchy internet connectivity, despite being in Mumbai and Pune, and surrounded by 7 other family members. How will you be able to concentrate on learning despite having a tablet? So I think that's our second challenge. And I think the third one that we are continuing to face is really how do we catch up with the nutritional losses as well that have happened in the absence of midday meals. So those are the 3 areas that we are focusing on, Francis.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's very valuable to know. And I've personally seen some of your schools. Which was your school which was ranked one of the world's top schools? You want to mention that? The mic is there. Just for them to know.
Yes. So one of 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 schools in 𝗙𝗵𝗻𝗄 Municipal Corporation located in 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, which is peri-urban, was selected as in the top 3 of the world's best school prize run by this T4 education non-profit in UK for community collaboration.
And especially on community collaboration.
Yes.
Right? That focus
Yes.
point. And I think community collaboration is such a very, very important component of schools, right? Because we sometimes think that our boundaries restrict us, but today is the time when you have to break the walls and just move towards and make your school as a community school. Sonali is with us here from Responsible Netism. I've seen their work for, 10 years now. They're just celebrating their 10th anniversary tomorrow. The kind of work which they do in the cyberspace, because most of our children have moved into the cloud now. They are moving here, walking their steps inside the planet here, but their mind is in the cloud, So you want to share the kind of challenges you saw and, what do you foresee happening in the future?
Sure. So thank you so much, sir, for having me here, and amazing to see educators from all over come here. I would like to ask you all, in such a technology-enabled world today, where does safety stand for you? I have not heard a word about digital safety since morning, and it is saddening and very, very concerning. We work on the cause of protection of children from online threats, and we're a reporting organization for removal of content that children and adults face in cyberspace, so cyber crime specifically. And we're also working on the element of cyber wellness, which means protection of children from internet dependency. So I'm sure each and every one has had one experience which has been very threatening in cyberspace with your school children. In the pandemic, we've had horrifying cases where children have fifth standards have, hacked the school domain and declared school is shut, or going to the extent of morphing a teacher's image and creating a ruckus in the Zoom platform. Teachers were not just coping with the pandemic and the COVID, they were coping with technology far more than anything else, because we were just not adapting with the pace at which technologies hit us. So what we've been doing ever since is making the entire school ecosystem cyber safe, and cyber hygiene is the value that we're inculcating. We started work from grade 6 in the secondary. Now we start work at grade 1, because everybody is introduced to technology. We have specific programs for parents of the primary and the secondary on controlling various features of safety. At the same time, we have a lot of conversion. So we have a new equation. We all know what is IQ. We all know what is EQ. Now the new equation is high IQ, high EQ, high TQ, which is the technology quotient, makes you a responsible netizen, because the technology quotient is very high of children, and we're still in Stone Age when it comes to using it. So bringing that balance in the world of technology is critical. At the same time, focusing on the element of safety and age-appropriate device introduction to children, I think that is what the balance that will bring in. And for schools specifically, we've been working on how to create a system of first responders. We've had so many cases where children have been terribly bullied online. We've had cases where children have shared nudes with strangers across at grade 5, 6, and 7 in numbers, hundreds, 200 children. All of these influences of cyberspace, we really don't know where to go. So building a first responding mechanism within the school to make the entire school ecosystem cyberspace, and that's the work we've been doing, shifting our focus from just online safety to cyber wellness.
I think it's not just restricted for children. I mean, we all are vulnerable to such things, right? You have any specific instance which it's a good learning for adults? Forget about children. How we get trapped?
Yeah, so we have a helpline that we run, and we are flooded with the gas, phone bill, electricity bill calls. We last night had a lady of 55 shell out 67 lakh rupees because she didn't realize it is a fraud. We've had honey traps where, you fall in love online. Pyar andha hota hai, and then you shell out a lot of money. We have children trading in deep web, dark web with guns, weapons, with flesh, with pornographic images. So we're not worried about whether children are viewing porn. We are worried about what they're generating and selling to make money. This is grade 5, 6. This is from across economic sections. We've had tribal communities doing the same and the most affluent children doing the same, just they're doing it in a very clandestine manner. So everybody is hit in cyberspace, and we're still very, very reluctant to accept that we need to be educated in that space.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's very, very risky. I mean, I was just in the morning during the panel discussion, because I was talking a bit about COVID, the moment I spoke about COVID, suddenly I got a WhatsApp message. It just came out of the Corona helpline, WhatsApp, just a message cropped up. So never imagine, right? I mean, but your phone is listening to you more than your wife or husband listens. So you have to be very, very careful. That's 𝗟𝗹 and 𝗎𝗲, both of you, I mean, because you work so much in collaboration, right? I see the collaboration of municipal corporations with non-profits like you, how it's really transforming education, because sometimes many private educationists don't go to the bottom, right? Because, it's very hard, there's no flesh in it. How has the relation working with governments been for you, 𝗟𝗹? And then I'll come to 𝗎𝗲.
So we have now been partnering with government for over 20 years. 15 years of those have been running schools in 𝗟𝗶𝗲 as well as in Pune and most lately in Nagpur Municipal Corporation. I must tell you that, some of the misconceptions that many of us had, including myself, I'm from IIT Delhi, I did my engineering, came into education through the Teach for India Fellowship, and, all of us had a couple of misconceptions. One, the parents who come from poor communities do not really value education enough. Rubbish. Second, government stakeholders, educators, officers, they don't care enough about the schools and what they are running. Rubbish. I think they do. The constraints within which we have seen the government schools operate is next to what, many of us, including myself, I just belong to an upper middle class family, we just never had an exposure to. Up until the age of 27, I never walked into a neighboring government school and really see what's really going on and what can I do about it. And so, I must tell you that our partnership with 𝗟𝗶𝗲 has been wholesome. Are there no issues? Of course there are issues, but I think it's the dialogue that allows us to solve, because what we all want is that children in schools, in our schools, combined schools in 𝗟𝗶𝗲 and in 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏, they just do as well as many of your school students. None of the 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 schools, if you ever walk into any of our schools, you will not see our branding, our logo, none. Nothing of that sort. Our schools continue to be named as the original name given by the government. So we're not here to take the credit, we are here to really make a difference and impact.
Thank you.
मैं 𝗟𝗹 को कंटिन्यू करूँगी कि उन्होंने जैसा अभी कहा है, जब प्राइवेट स्कूल ने जिस बच्चों ने फीस नहीं दिया, उन बच्चों का एडमिशन कैंसिल किया है। 2-2 साल तक नाम रखने के बाद में उनको रिज़ल्ट नहीं दिया है कि आप फीस भरिए फिर आपको लिया जाएगा। ऐसे सारे बच्चे हमारे पास आए हैं, उनको हमने लिया है और हमारे पास में नियर अबाउट 1 लाख स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ा है। तो इन्होंने जो भी कहा एकदम ट्रू है। ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने नहीं लिया इसलिए 1 लाख हमारा स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ा है। अभी इन्होंने बताया है तो वैसा प्रोग्रेस बहुत आगे है और मतलब बताने जैसा बहुत कुछ है बीएमसी में क्या क्या हो रहा है। डेफिनेटली अगर आप उस तक जाएंगे तो आपको मालूम पड़ेगा कि वेयर वी आर। थैंक यू।
Sonali, you also work with the system. Like, this is the final question before we wind off. You also work with the system, especially with government, private schools. How has your experience been?
I think there's been a lot of change ever since the pandemic. Before that, we had no respect because online safety को कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है किसी की. Ever since the pandemic, we were called 24/7 कि हाय भाई कुछ करो स्कूल में हमारे, because everybody is committing crimes. So I think that respect, that acceptance and acknowledgement कि हमारे साथ कुछ भी हो सकता है cyber space में, and especially with the government, we've been training about 1,500 government school teachers, BMC's teachers, and the cases that they're dealing with, I think are very difficult to even imagine. So our interaction with them has been very collaborative and supportive, and I think that's the way forward.
Thank you. I mean, thank you so much, and I would like to thank all of you. I mean, I know we are really running fast. Thank you for your time and sharing your experiences, and I think one learning out of it is that, we need to really see we have to seek the true purpose of education. That's the first learning, and yes, collaboration always works, right? And if you have got some perspectives in your mind, learn to respect other perspectives and other challenges also, So thank you so much, Saurav. Thank you, Seema ma'am, and thank you, Sonali.
Francis, can I take 30 seconds?
Please.
As non-profit leaders, all of us have learned to pitch. I heard some brilliant pitches today. My call to action is twofold. If you or your students ever want to give back to the community, our schools are accepting volunteers 24/7. We need a lot of people to be able to catch up with the learning gap. So www.𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲𝗏.org. Please, look us up. And if there are any people who are ever thinking about fully moving towards non-profit, you're done with, teaching the kids from certain backgrounds and you want to give back, we are always hiring.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that wonderful pitch as well. So I would like to, please be seated, just a moment. I would like to call upon Mr. Rajat Dandekar to come up on dais and facilitate all our panelists and moderator.